And Malcolm. Hello, Malcolm.
Hi, Magdi.
Yes. So I have changed my computer. So let me see, what do I need to do here? Okay. Just to be familiar. Okay. All right. Okay. So that's oh, maybe here. Okay, let me see. Okay. I'm not sure how this page is arising. I cannot mute everybody. So just, I think everybody is muted. So, okay, fine. So let's just take a few minutes to be with ourselves. And in being with ourselves, we are being with everyone and everything. So it's a fresh moment of being, which is not in time. So the peace of being is our true nature. This is where the love is. This is the source of beauty, of understanding. Which is this simple presence, this fresh awareness available to all of us equally. The transparency of being. There is one reality, and you are that, you as this awareness. And the recognition of yourself is available to you. So we say yes to this recognition, and we keep the doors open. And when we say yes to the recognition of ourself, we are saying yes to the recognition of the other as myself, the other as oneself. So we are watchful that the love that we feel for ourselves is the same love that we feel, express, and live in relationship with others. like a seed needs water and various nutrients to sprout and grow into a tree or a flower. Similarly, when we express the love and when we live the love, meaning being watchful of the old tendencies to judge ourselves, to judge others. We are watchful. And in being watchful, we are available for change. Change from the old ways in which we perceive ourselves and the old ways in which we live and comprehend to a fresh new way that is inspired by our love for truth, which is our love for creation as well, since creation in its undiluted way is an expression of the absolute. So we are available and willing to be empty, to be free, and to honor the freedom and the emptiness of the other. Rest as you are in this moment of no time, a moment of eternity. Recognize your infinity and your transparency, unburdened by the past. Do not be concerned about images. They are fleeting. Body minds, the world, appearing and disappearing moment by moment. The body that you perceive, which is 12-year-old, in an instant, it is a 30, 40-year-old body that you are perceiving. The world that you're perceiving at a certain moment in time, in an instant, it's a different world, always appearing in the same time, which is the eternity of presence. the path is both a very gentle, fluid path, effortless path of surrender and being, as well as the path of the warrior, Manjusri, the Bodhisattva, that cuts through the illusion. So in the world where fluid and malleable, like the wind, and oftentimes internally you have to be the warrior, watchful, alert, standing still in the face of strong emotion, strong tendency to judge, to defend, to attack. So we take a look at that, and we also plant ourselves in the steadiness of being, not knowing being. Not being pushed by the old current. How can we be with each other like we are with ourselves? Open, listening. Listening is love in listening, unconditional listening, listening as presence, listening as interest, not listening to whether it lines up with my point of view, whether it feels good to me. Listening without the past, without the me, which invites the other and honors the other space by providing your space for the other. It's one space. When you are in the other meeting, you're meeting as one. Which is the true meeting which is true love, not meeting as two. So exploration with your entire being. giving it all, giving it all. Why do you want to hold anything back? What for? Images about oneself are just that, images. They mean nothing. No significance. Because the self, that which you are, that which I am, is imageless, image free. What is it right now that is completely image free in your direct experience? Images may differ, but that which is image free, how does that differ? To be gentle, to be loving, may at times require a seeming self-sacrifice. But whatever you're sacrificing is sacrificable. That which is unsacrificable cannot be sacrificed. So you can drop the image in a moment of interaction, in a moment of listening, in a moment of presence. Can you? Is it possible? Is it doable? Okay. So if there are any questions.
I have a question, Magdi.
Hello, Jenny.
Hi.
Yes.
Well, my question is about, we know we're awareness and we're consciousness, but I still find my mind wants to make that into an object. So I was wondering if it would work to maybe think of ourselves as like phenomenon of perception. Like this might find that helpful.
A perception consists of something observed and something observing
Mhm.
a relationship, and that relationship is called the observation or the perception. Yes. So there is the thought that appears. What a beautiful day it is today. It's an object. And then there is that which perceives. And John is saying for me to increase the volume. Okay, John, let me see, 1 moment. Sound, okay. This one is good, this is good. Good, okay. Maybe this is better. This should help, hopefully. Okay. Okay. So there is the observation, there is the observed.
Not working, Magdi. That's okay. I can hear the others loud, but it's just your voice that's not, it's often the case, but I can barely hear yours. So if it won't work, I'll just do the video that comes out, I guess.
Okay, should I maybe get the earphones? Would that help maybe?
You can try, I don't know. I just don't know, Magdi.
It is faint for me too, Magdi.
Okay.
Hey, John, while we're waiting, could I ask you a favor? And when you thank Magdi
Is
for
this
the
better now,
videos,
John?
could you just reply to him without replying all?
John, is this better or?
It's about the same, so
How about
it's
now?
okay.
Is this better now?
No, it's just about the same. It's
Oh.
exactly the same. It sounds like it's exactly the same to me. So maybe I'll have to just go ahead and listen to you did something once before without putting those on, but
Okay, how about now?
just
Is
don't
this
know
better
what-
now? No?
no, I don't know. Somebody else said they were having a little bit of trouble. I don't know if they can speak up, but
Okay. How many people are having difficulty hearing me?
It was faint during the meditation for me, but I can
Okay.
kind of hear you now.
Okay, Zoe.
It sounded garbled.
Oh. Okay. Well.
I can hear you okay, Magdi, but I think
Yes.
it's because this is Holly. I can
Yeah, Holly.
have my headphones on and I'm able to turn you up.
Okay.
So
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah, I just turned my volume up and it's okay.
All right.
I don't have capability. Yeah.
All right. Well, on my end, I did what I could do, at least as far as I
Okay.
know.
All right. Thank you.
And
Thank you, Magdi.
hopefully, I'll keep an eye on the sound.
Now it's starting to go up a little bit. So
Oh,
I don't
okay.
know
It
what's
started to go up.
happening.
Okay.
There you go. There you go. Who knows?
The stars just lined up, you know. Okay. Well, I'll continue to use the earphones. Maybe that, you know, for now. Yes. Okay. So in terms of perception, there is that which we perceive and there is that which perceives. Yes. So I perceive this image. Yes, I perceive this image. And the eye that perceives the image obviously is not an image, because an image does not perceive another image, right? Yeah, you follow, Jenny?
Right, but don't we say that awareness is aware of itself? But why couldn't perception perceive itself?
Okay, because it depends what you mean by perception. So you have to define perception. Can you define perception so we know what we're talking about? How do you define perception? What is your experience? I mean,
Yeah, I think I'm using it as another word for awareness.
okay, well, so it's important to be clear about how we use the word, you know, perception. So perception is an activity. In other words, I perceive a bird, I listen to music, I perceive a thought.
That's like my question is awareness or consciousness, is it actually an activity instead of like a thing?
Well, consciousness awareness is our experience right now. I am aware, right? Right now I'm aware, yes?
Right.
I'm aware of hearing these words, right? So there is an activity, the activity of hearing, yes? So one could say that awareness is an activity, the activity of hearing, right? Yeah. At the same time, I am aware that I'm aware, right? Are you aware? Are you aware that you're aware?
Yeah.
Right. I'm aware that I'm aware, and that is not an activity
What is it?
because there is no sound, there is no perception, there is no thought. Being aware of the song of a bird is being aware of an activity, which is the song of a bird. But being aware of being aware, there is no bird singing. There is no thought. There is no feeling. There's a difference between being aware of hunger, sensation, and being aware of awareness, being aware that I'm aware. You need to see the difference there. Do you see the difference?
So being aware of awareness is not an activity.
Well, there is no object, right? There is no perception, there is no sensation, there is no meditation, right? When you're aware that the earth is round, you're aware of an image and you're aware of a thought, right? There is an object, right?
So what is it if it's not being aware of awareness? If it's not activity, what is it?
Well, it's a non-activity. There is no activity. It's a direct knowingness. There is no object. So awareness or consciousness in movement is an activity. And in stillness, it's a non-activity. So right now, you're aware of hearing these words. But also, if you turn your attention to it, if I bring it up, you're aware that you're aware. And awareness of activity is louder than awareness of awareness. Why? Because there is an object. It has color, it has sound, it has shape. While awareness of awareness has no sound, no shape, what it has is the experience of peace, beauty, love, understanding, freedom, joy. But when we are simply aware of objects, then the experience of peace, stillness, tranquility, freedom, joy, intelligence is veiled. So your question is about, if your question is, what is consciousness being just aware of itself? It's just that. It's just consciousness being itself. It is consciousness at rest. So consciousness, like the ocean when it's at rest, it's the ocean, it's water. And when the ocean is in movement, it's waves, but it's still water. Now, when you overlook the ocean and you're only focusing on the waves, all you experience is movement. You don't experience the water, the stillness. So in perceiving, there is an object and a subject that is a phenomenal perception, perceiving a thought, perceiving a sensation, perceiving a rose bush or the smell of an orange blossom. That's a phenomenal perception. There is a different type of perception, which we refer to as the noumenal perception, a non-phenomenal perception, which is the experience of peace, causeless peace, which is consciousness knowing itself, being itself. We say I, by I we are referring to consciousness. Because I is the constant in our experience. Thoughts are not constant in your experience. They appear and they disappear. The body, sensations, shapes are not constant in your experience, because the body that was 5-year-old and the body that is 20 years old and 30 years old are different bodies. The world is not constant in your experience, it changes. That which is constant in your experience is I, awareness. So there is in your experience that which is constant, and there is in your experience that which is phenomenal, which is changing. Yes? But the I refers to the constant. Now, constant means that which is unchanging, across time and space. It's the same I, whether the world is daylight or nighttime. It is the same I, whether the body is 10-year-old or 20-year-old. It's the same I, whether the body is in North America or South America. It's the same I. So changeless means it does not change across time and space. Another word for that is reality. That reality is changeless. Otherwise, you would have a reality that's constantly changing. Oh, reality A, reality B, reality C, reality D. You cannot no longer use the word reality. Reality is changeless. So another way of looking at I, or consciousness or awareness, is reality, as reality. So in your experience, there is the reality of consciousness, which is your direct experience, because you are aware. So this reality, which is the reality of consciousness, is not made out of many realities, like sub-realities. It's one reality. There are no multiplicity to reality. There is a multiplicity to thoughts, experiences, many different species of birds and trees and flowers. But there is no multiplicity when it comes to reality, to consciousness. It's one consciousness. So when we say I, we're not referring to a personal I or a personal consciousness. We're referring to consciousness, period. Which is impersonal, has no shape and form, no size, no gender, no center, no location, no destination. So I am the reality of consciousness. I is the reality of consciousness. So the sense of limitation that we experience, the sense of lack and incompleteness that we experience, is due to our belief that I refers to the person, that I refers to Jenny, or I refers to Magdi, I refers to somebody, a mortal body mind. And that I exist in time and space. I have a past and a future and hopes and sorrows, and I hope things will get better, blah, blah, blah. When there is that belief and that feeling that I am a mortal body mind, then there is a confusion. And we are in the stream of negative emotions. We're in trouble. And so, because of the sense of separation, of isolation, we act in ways that are not very loving with our friends, with our partners, at work, in relationship. We're judgmental. We defend our image. we are trying to improve some imaginary realm of you follow?
Oh, yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So keep turning your attention to that in your experience, which is not objective. There is in your experience awareness, consciousness. Don't try to think about it, to try to make an image of it. Just go to the experience of being. Right now you are the experience of being. And explore that, the experience of being, not being in time, but just being, not being somebody good or bad, just being. Invite yourself to the experience of being without any veils, without any add-on, no add-ons. And invite yourself to live as that. Explore that direction. See how it unfolds for you, Jenny.
Okay.
Okay. Oh. So, any questions?
Hi, Magdi, it's Esther.
Esther, hello, Esther.
Hi. Along the same lines of Jenny's question, it came up for me that would you talk about the difference between thinking as a vehicle of consciousness and thinking as the expression of identity? It seems like to me, if I'm present and engaged, thought is not actually a deliberate thing. It seems like it just is automatic. And I say things or things come up and expressed that are real. They're authentic. But if I'm identified, there's always some kind of a thread of judgment.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
But there's a real difference in the expression of the use of the mind.
Mm-hmm.
That way. I know it's consciousness using it both ways, but
Mm-hmm.
there's a differentiation there.
Mm-hmm. Yes, Esther, in a spontaneous expression, there isn't much of a past that is active, or let's say there is more of sort of speaking from presence, but it does not mean that you are speaking from your true nature. So let's say that you are deluded, you believe that you are a unicorn. And somebody meets you in the street and says, hello. And spontaneously you respond, hello, how are you doing? I'm so happy to see you. I just left home, and you know, my wife got a new unicorn suit, and she's very happy. She's missing her unicorn shoes, and I'm going to the store to buy her unicorn shoes. Wow, it's such a beautiful expression of spontaneous expression of, you know, it's spontaneous. I have no image about the other person or myself, but I still believe I'm a unicorn. There is a difference between a spontaneous expression where the sense of separation is not dead, has not been seen through, and the spontaneity of awareness, of consciousness. I just want to make that point. It's an important point. But yes, as you are less and less burdened with the sense of personal self, you're less and less burdened by images about yourself, how you appear, how you're loved, whether you're sounding good, whether you look good, blah, 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 whether you're old, you're young, you're heavy, you're thin, you're saying wise things, not wise things. The less you are carrying that stuff, the happier you are. And of course, your expression is not coming from with all that luggage, you see. So in a way, yes, the more we are free from images about ourselves and images about others, the more spontaneous we are. If we feel like being silent, we're silent. And if we feel like saying something, we say something. It happens how it happens. Now, the contemplation is always a contemplation about true nature. What am I truly? What am I truly? And what am I truly? I already am, without the beliefs, without the stories, without the past, without ideas about me, my body, my family, my age, my money, my future, my house, my wife, my husband, blah, blah, blah. Without that identity. These thoughts may arise, but they have their place. Yeah, the body age, oh, it has its place. We need to move the body a little bit more, be watchful, more watchful about the diet of the body, blah, blah. But it's functional, it's limited, it is functional, and it's mechanical. There is no identification with the body-mind. So a spontaneity that comes from the freedom is different from a spontaneity that comes from, you know, just the moment, you know, somebody, because we could spontaneously punch somebody in the face because they said, gee, I don't like the way you look. But there's no happiness in that. But it's spontaneous, you know, spontaneous. There is a spontaneity that comes from not just from spontaneity, but it comes from our self-knowingness. And again, our self-knowingness is not achieving anything. More, it is a dropping. It's a dropping of the luggage, the stories, the histories, the ideas about me, the ideas about the other, the ideas about the world, blah, blah, blah. There is a thinning out process when the ideas are thinned out, and also we don't, the feeling level, we're also saying, we're all saying, no, it's okay. Yeah, I can feel that way. Yeah, well, okay, I can feel that way. Because the body is feeling, right? Let the body express itself. It's expressing itself. The dullness today. Okay, yeah, I'm okay with that. It's expressing itself heaviness, or expressing itself, no movement, or expressing itself, I want to go for a 5-mile hike, whatever. It's okay. We are not identified. And there can be expressions that are not spontaneous, where you reason, you look at it, and then you say, yeah, I think that's the direction. The direction is for me to go that way and not that way. And also, such a decision, such an action can be inspired by wisdom and by the peace. I wouldn't make a big deal about spontaneity. Rather, I would make a big deal about anything that's a big deal.
Yeah, as you were speaking, I realized, well, one doesn't really need to dwell on that or even differentiate. What's the point? Just be real and let that take care of itself.
Yes, absolutely. And being real is this moment of being. It's not, there is no image about being real, because I don't know what being real is. I don't need to know. It's here I am, here it is, here isnness is, here we are. It's real. So being really the way is like, it's thinner than thin, and yet it is also just this. And it's unburdened, being real is unburdened. It's unburdened psychologically. There may be some other things that you need to tend to, but psychologically it's unburdened, it's free. So freedom and being real is, they're not so far apart. Maybe there's two sides of the same coin. And freedom is freedom for everybody and everything. It's not a personal freedom. So in freedom, there is love. In freedom, we recognize our freedom, and we recognize everybody's freedom in this being real. So when we're real, We allow and invite everybody to be real. And it's an inner recognition. So we honor reality and for everyone and everything.
Thanks, Magdi.
Whichever way we torture ourselves, we also torture others. We can take either route, either stop torturing others or stop torturing yourself. They're the same route, the same path. Because we are not separate. And the best place to see it is in relationship. Of course, relationship is we're never out of relationship. Never out of relationship. Because in relationship with oneself, we're in relationship with the whole. And when relationship with somebody else without being in relationship with the whole, we're not in relationship. We believe we are, we think we are. But we may be with our own ideas, our own limited orbit. So true relationship is when we are taking a closer look at our own orbit. And exploring, freedom from orbiting.
Hi, Magdi.
Yes. Hello, Amna.
So I have a couple of questions. My first one is regarding awareness. And I had a couple of experiences where, like one of them I was laughing, and then the other one I was scared. And in both of them, like as I was aware that I wasn't affected.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So what is the question?
That's a good question. I don't know what the question is.
Well, yes, as awareness is the transparency of being, There can be sunshine, there can be thunder, there can be daylight, there can be a rainbow. Awareness is this transparent beingness, which is unmoved and unstirred, undisturbed by the world, body, mind. And yet, it's happiness. It rejoices in the song of a bird. It rejoices in, being with a friend. It rejoices in watching a butterfly fly from. It means nothing really. Butterfly flying from flower to flower. What does it mean? Nothing. But yet there is a joy in that, because consciousness is joy, is happiness. Yes, it's not just sort of a mirror, like a mirror, just a mirror. No, it's a joy of being. Yes, it is mirror-like, but it's also joyful, free, happy. And yes, the understanding that you are not a subject to world, body, mind events. You're not subject. And to really take a close look at that, to come to profound clarity about that. Okay, you know, there is the world, there are people, there's family, there's thoughts about this and that, and the health and the money and the whatever, you know. Yes, but all of these are like the weather. They're like the weather. To really comprehend that and to open yourself up to say, yes, I am available for that comprehension to sort of come and flow through me, come and inhabit me. I am available for the joy, for the happiness, for the freedom. Yes? Because you think about it. What's the big deal about this life? 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 years. What's the big deal? 120, 130. What's the deal? What's the big deal? Without happiness, without joy. Worry about this, worry about that. What's going to happen to this? Why did I do this? Why did he do that? Before we know it, we're 60 years old, 70 years old, still repeating the same questions. Different people, same questions. Why did they do this to me? Why did my cousin do this to me? Why did my boss do this to me? What's the point? You know, sometimes I read somewhere that there were questions they asked people who are about to die, like, what do you regret, or, you know, what would you have done different? And in many cases, people are saying, I wish I had enjoyed life more. You see. So we're talking about enjoyment. We're talking about joy. But it's not about enjoying life. Yes, in a way it is, but the way to enjoy life is to realize your freedom. You cannot enjoy life and still feel like you're in prison. Okay, here I am, I'm limited, I'm mortal, and I am this body-mind, looking good today. Oh, what's going to happen to it tomorrow? Oh boy, oh, I'm okay now, what's going to happen tomorrow? You know, you cannot enjoy life and at the same time be carrying the burden of I'm a limited self, which you are not, which you are not. As you said, you experienced various experiences and you realize that I'm the same. There's something something
Unaffected. Something unaffected.
Yes, something unaffected. Yes.
It was disorienting.
It's a good disorientation.
Okay.
Because we have this habitual orientation of being me. It's like we love our suffering. And there is this idea, which is a false idea, that if I'm not holding on to my identity, then I'm going to fall apart. It's okay to be disoriented, you know. There is a certain freedom about it. Mm-hmm. It's a psychological disorientation. The body knows where to go, what to do. It's okay. You know, there's functioning, or what's needed in the body mind is there. It's there. Right? So it's a psychological orientation about I am this. I need to remain this, and I need to remain, continue the story. So I'm a novel or a series of novel, series one, series of novel. I mean, novel number 5. I've got 5 more publications. That's my orientation. As soon as I realize, wow, I'm unaffected, that in fact I am that which is beyond effect. It's like that glimpse. I am that which is beyond effect, beyond cause and effect. It's disorienting, but it's an okay disorientation. It's a good one.
Can I ask you my second question?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So another disorienting thing, but not in, I don't think it's in a positive way, is okay, 1 second. Why is there resistance from my family to me like being interested in this stuff when they see the positive effect? Like they see and they experience a positive effect. So I don't
I'm not sure
understand that.
I'm not sure they see it. I remember when I was in college many years ago. Actually, I had sort of I had finished with college, but I was still living around near the university, but in a town close by, and I was working in a halfway house for psychiatric patients, and I was supposed to be an engineer. You know, I had a master's degree in engineering. I had to go make the big bucks. I was very happy, and I had, you know, I remember writing to my mom about, oh, I'm so happy. She was freaking out about it. What do you mean you're happy? Where is the money? Or I mean, okay, she didn't say it this way, but it was like, you have to become somebody. You have to become somebody. And she had an image, you know, and her love for me was about that. Was, I mean, it was a condition about how she loved her son was by making sure that he becomes successful in her, how she viewed it, you know. I mean, freedom, joy, happiness, meditation, contemplation, all of that was, what are you talking about? I mean, what are you talking about? So I'm not sure that your parents really, really get it about happiness, you know. I'm sure they have like worries and concerns about their ideas about you and their ideas about themselves, their ideas about the relationship with you, you know, who you are to them, what they are to you in their mind, you see. So you're looking at happiness, you're looking at, you know, how you're growing, you're blooming spiritually, you're making big steps in a certain direction from, but that is not available to them. I mean, they're not privy to what you're experiencing, and don't expect them to. They won't. It's not going to happen. So, in a way, it is part of what is given to you. Obviously, it's given to you. You know, it's being presented to you. And you're being asked, well, here it is. Let's watch. What are you going to do with it? What are you going to do with it? So it's a good question. I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. But here I am. I've got this situation. I've got this. I love the truth. I love contemplation and looking into what the reality, what is true, what is illusion, looking into what am I truly. I love that. Here I am. There is this love. Obviously, this love is given to you. You didn't, you know, go and look for it. It just came to you somehow, and then it spoke to you. It speaks to you. At the same time, there are the conditions of your parents, or whatever. So how to live with that? That's a good question. But it's a living question. It's not a question that has an answer, or here's the answer. Here is the answer. It's open page 52, paragraph 3, boom, here's your answer. No, it's a living answer. You're living the answer. You are the living question and answer. Yeah, you see? And at the same time, there is the singing of the birds. At the same time, there is the sensation of your feet on the ground. At the same time, there is the breath. At the same time, there is the love. You see? So all of that is happening. You see? Right? And you cannot sacrifice that which is really your love. In my case, just to tell you what happened. So I was upstate New York and working in the halfway house. I was an evening manager. I was living there. Everything was cool. A little money, but I was tranquilo. And what ended up happening, my mom, who lived outside of New York City in Long Island, got ill and was in the intensive care unit. So I hear my mom is in intensive care unit. Of course, I have to go down to see her. And she's, near death. Tubes and all sorts of things. And so I go to see her in the intensive care unit. And I walk in, and she's sort of is in and out, but she's aware I'm there. I sit in the room with her 1 hour. Very quickly after that, she recovers. Recovers. Everything is done. She's good. Doctor saying, "Wow, she recovers." It was not because of I have no particular powers, no, but she made herself sick, I think, so that she can get me to, and she played it. So I ended up spending a few years with her, marrying the wrong woman for the wrong reason, or marrying the wrong woman for the right reason, whatever. And getting into the wheel, the family wheel, the story, And of course, at the same time, my most profound love was for truth. I was completely into love for truth. So my path ended up being that sort of path where I was sort of working, living, dealing with all sorts of family psychologies, God help us. And at the same time, doing my contemplation and my inquiry. Well, this was just my journey, but look to what extent it can go, to what extent that sort of family power can go, to the point where she would kill herself in order to bring me over. All bodies die. It's a matter of time.
I'm inclined to ask you this question, like, knowing what you know now, would you go back and do it the same way again?
I'm now, the proof is in the pudding, that expression, the proof is in the pudding. So given the happiness now, I have no regret about anything. Every person's path is what their path is, and what you have available to you is this moment of inquiry, of looking and exploring. And every exploration is original. I mean, it doesn't repeat itself. Even in your life, every moment is fresh and new, and you don't know which direction to go. So the question about right and wrong, the correct path and the incorrect path, the incorrect path is the path of personal fear and personal emotions and being led by the personal emotions as a rule of thumb. And the correct path is the path that does not follow the negative emotions, that does not operate out of envy, fear, jealousy, anger, blah, 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 blah. And also, there are some things that are non-negotiable. You have to figure out what they are for you.
How is it that, I mean, okay, how is it that people don't see that? That, like, it goes back to the original question of like I do show up kinder, like more patient. Like, how is it that people don't?
Well, I'm sure they appreciate it to a certain extent. You know, it's good. It's good. You had a good time. No, it's good, very good. You can go again in 5 years. In the long run, I'm not. What everybody is calling for is calling for love. But it's calling for love, and it is upon our discovery of love via our understanding about love that we can, well, let's say that it's via our understanding that our love becomes a universal love and helps others. Now you use the word help in quotation mark. Affects others, let's say. Affects others. So just the concerns about others and questions about others are unending. Why are they like this? Why do this? Why this person did this? Why is it? They're not the right questions. Not the right questions. More meaningful question is about happiness, the experience of happiness.
So leave that alone. Like, don't give it attention.
Yeah. No, of course not. Don't, because it's unending. You know, you will never figure out what is the process, because it's just a stream of thought within people's mind. It's like trying to catch a ray of sun or trying to catch the wind. You know, it's constantly changing. Of course, there are seasons. You know, there is the fall and then the winter. There are seasons, but it's all the weather. It's the weather. You can't, you know, pin it down. You know, it's a movement. It's a flow. People's minds are, and so is yours. So is yours. Your mind is a flow, but that which is not a flow, like you were saying before, but you know, that which is not affected. I forgot the way you said it. That is that is the steady eddy. That is that which you can count on. You can always count on the peace, the freedom, the joy, which comes from not being defined, and not defining others. See, it's not just, they go hand in hand, defining others and defining yourself, they go hand in hand. So you drop all definitions and you explore living as presence. Just there. Whichever way it appears to you, whichever way it's possible for you. It's different from person to person. The situation differs from person to person, but living as presence is the same, irrespective of the situations. Okay, Amna. Nice to see you. Okay. Any other questions? All right, well, thank you all. Very lovely to be with you all. George, nice to see you. And Esther, yes, Esther. Amna, Holger, Mina, hello, Mina. Patrick, John, hi, John. And Grace, hello, Grace. Zoe, and Holly, hey, Holly. Charlie, nice horses. And Shiva, salut Shiva, and Pauline. Thank you all.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Magdi.
Magdi.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Magdi.
Thank you, everyone.